I remember the moment I booked my flight, a simple click, but in that instant, my world shifted. It was more than just a transaction, it was a commitment to step outside my comfort zone, to leave behind the familiar routines and faces I'd grown used to. My heart raced with anticipation and a tinge of fear, knowing that I was about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything I thought I knew. The airport buzzed with energy, but I felt suspended in time, caught between the life I was leaving and the adventure ahead. It felt like a leap into the unknown, a freefall into possibility. Romania. The name alone conjured images of dark castles perched on misty hills, endless forests shrouded in fog, and of course the legendary tales of vampires and mysterious creatures lurking in the shadows. I pictured ancient stone walls echoing with secrets, and landscapes that seemed to belong to another world. I was excited, but also nervous. Would Romania be as mysterious and cold as the stories suggested? Would I find myself lost in a place where I didn't speak the language, surrounded by unfamiliar customs and faces? The questions swirled in my mind, making my heart pound with both excitement and anxiety. Landing in Bucharest late at night, the city felt unfamiliar and a little lonely. The streets were quiet, bathed in the orange glow of streetlights, and the air was thick with the scent of rain and distant traffic. I felt like a stranger in a story I hadn't yet learned to read. The buildings were a patchwork of old grandeur and tired history. Ornate facades stood beside crumbling walls, and every corner seemed to whisper stories of a past both glorious and troubled. I wondered what secrets these streets held, and if I would ever feel at home among them. Alone in my hotel room, I questioned my decision, wondering if I'd made a mistake. The silence pressed in, and doubts crept into my mind. Was I chasing a fantasy, or running from something I couldn't name? But as dawn broke, everything changed. The first rays of sunlight painted the city in gold, chasing away the shadows and filling my room with warmth. It was as if the city itself was waking up, inviting me to do the same. Sunlight poured into my room, and the city outside was alive. People bustling, colors everywhere. The streets that seemed so intimidating at night now buzzed with laughter, music, and the aroma of fresh coffee drifting from open cafes. Suddenly, the unfamiliar felt inviting. I wandered out and found a small bakery. The smell of fresh bread and a warm smile from the baker instantly lifted my spirits. The simple act of being welcomed, of sharing a moment over a loaf of bread, made me feel less like an outsider and more like a guest. That moment shattered my old ideas about Romania. The country wasn't just a collection of myths and legends. It was a place of real people, genuine kindness, and unexpected beauty. This wasn't a land of shadows, but of warmth and life. The markets were filled with laughter, the parks with families, and everywhere I looked, I saw stories waiting to be discovered. I realized my journey wouldn't be about confirming old stories, but discovering new ones. I wanted to capture every moment, to write down every feeling, and to see Romania through my own eyes, not through the lens of old legends. I decided to let Romania reveal itself, to listen, taste, and meet its people with an open mind. Every meal, every conversation, every street corner became an opportunity to learn and to grow. No longer just a tourist, I was a traveler, ready to connect, learn, and be surprised. I wanted to be part of the story, not just an observer, and surprised I would be. Romania had already begun to challenge my expectations, and I sensed that the real adventure was only just beginning. My adventure had truly begun, and with every step I felt more alive, more open, and more ready to embrace whatever came next. Bucharest was my first real taste of Romania's soul. From the moment I arrived, the city felt alive with a quiet energy, as if every street corner had a secret to share. The air was thick with history, and yet, there was a pulse of modern life that made me feel both like an outsider and a welcomed guest. The city is a living puzzle, French-style mansions beside stark communist blocks. Each building seemed to tell its own story, a testament to the city's layered past. The grandeur of old Europe stands shoulder to shoulder with the utilitarian lines of the communist era, creating a visual dialogue that is uniquely Bucharest. At first it felt chaotic, but soon I saw the story. A city wearing its scars with pride. The faded facades and bustling streets spoke of resilience, of a place that has weathered storms and emerged stronger. Every crack in the pavement, every worn statue seemed to whisper tales of survival and hope. I wandered the old town, losing myself among cobbled streets, cafes, and artisan shops. The aroma of fresh coffee mingled with the laughter of friends gathered at tiny tables, while artists displayed their crafts in sunlit windows. It was easy to get swept up in the charm and warmth that radiated from every corner. In a tiny bookshop, the owner and I shared smiles and gestures, connecting without words. The shelves were packed with stories, both familiar and foreign, and for a moment, language barriers melted away. It was a reminder that sometimes, the simplest human connections are the most profound. History here isn't just in monuments, it's alive in quiet corners and kind faces. Elderly locals chatted on benches, sharing memories and laughter, while children played nearby, weaving new stories into the city's fabric. The past and present coexist, creating a sense of continuity that is both comforting and inspiring. The highlight was Carteresti Carousel, a bookshop of white balconies and sunlight, a symbol of modern, hopeful Romania. Its spiral staircases and open spaces felt like an invitation to dream, to imagine a future shaped by creativity and knowledge. Here, tradition and innovation meet in perfect harmony. Bucharest taught me to look deeper, to find beauty in the mix of old and new, in resilience and creativity. The city's contrasts are not contradictions, but rather, they are the threads that weave together its unique identity. Street art blooms on ancient walls and modern glass towers reflect the city's ever-changing spirit. The city whispered stories of survival, art, and a determination to build a bright future. Community events brought people together, celebrating not just the past but the promise of what's to come. Artists painted murals that spoke of hope, unity, and the enduring power of imagination. It didn't just welcome me, it invited me to understand its complex heart. In Bucharest, I discovered that every encounter, every street, and every smile is part of a larger story, one of transformation, resilience, and the quiet strength that defines this remarkable city. Leaving the bustling city of Bucharest behind, I boarded a train bound for Transylvania, a name that conjures images of misty mountains, mysterious castles, and stories whispered through generations. Even before the train left the station, I felt a sense of anticipation, as if I were stepping into the pages of a fairy tale. The journey itself was nothing short of magical. As the train wound its way through rolling hills and dense ancient forests, I caught glimpses of colorful villages nestled in the valleys, their red-tiled roofs glowing in the afternoon sun. Horse-drawn carts trundled along quiet rural roads, a reminder that life here moves at its own gentle pace, untouched by the rush of the modern world. Arriving in Brasov, I found myself in a city that felt straight out of a storybook. Surrounded by the dramatic peaks of the Carpathian Mountains, Brasov's vibrant main square buzzed with life. Cafes spilling onto cobblestone streets, locals and travelers mingling, all set against a breathtaking mountain backdrop. Every corner seemed to hold a new discovery, from medieval walls to pastel-hued buildings. High above the city, the famous Brasov sign perched on Tampa Mountain made me smile. It's a playful, modern touch that stands in contrast to the centuries-old streets below, reminding visitors that this city embraces both its history and its present. My next stop was the legendary Bran Castle. Like so many, I arrived expecting the dark, Gothic lair of Dracula. Instead, I found a surprisingly cozy home, filled with sunlight and stories of queens, soldiers, and everyday life. The castle's rooms echoed with history, not horror, and its walls held memories far richer than any vampire tale. What truly enchanted me was the castle's setting, perched dramatically against the mountains, with sweeping views that seemed to stretch forever. At sunrise and sunset, the landscape glowed with a golden light, making it easy to see why legends were born here. But the real surprise of Transylvania wasn't its famous legends, it was the reality. A land of stunning natural beauty, medieval towns that feel frozen in time, and a vibrant tapestry of cultures. In the bustling marketplaces, I saw Romanians, Hungarians, and Saxons sharing traditions, foods, and stories, creating a unique blend that's entirely Transylvanian. I wandered through fortified churches and climbed ancient towers, each stone telling the story of centuries of coexistence and resilience. The architecture here is a living testament to the region's layered history, shaped by the hands and hearts of many peoples. In the end, I realized that while legends are fun, the true magic of Transylvania is written in its landscapes, its people, and its enduring spirit, a story far more beautiful than any myth. To understand Romania, you have to taste it. I arrived knowing nothing of Romanian food, expecting it to be simple and heavy. Instead, I found a cuisine rich with fresh ingredients and diverse influences. My first meal, sarmal, cabbage rolls with meat and rice served with creamy mamaliga, pure comfort. I tried everything: shorba de burda, sour tripe soup, fresh cheese and tomatoes, zakuska, roasted vegetable spread, and papanasi, donuts with sweet cheese and berry jam. Every meal was a celebration, a reflection of Romania's generous spirit. Sharing food here means sharing stories and friendship. Romanian cuisine isn't fancy, it's honest, hearty, and full of surprises. My culinary journey was as important as any sight I saw. From Transylvania I traveled to Bucovina, drawn by tales of its painted monasteries. The journey led me through remote, peaceful landscapes to a region untouched by mass tourism. The monasteries are masterpieces, UNESCO sites with walls covered in vibrant frescoes telling stories for those who couldn't read. Voronezh, with its legendary blue, was especially magical. Standing before these centuries-old paintings, I felt awe and a deep connection to the faith and artistry of the people. The monasteries are still alive with prayer and tradition, offering a quiet, spiritual beauty. In Bucovina, I discovered that the most precious treasures are often hidden, waiting for those willing to seek them. My final stop was Maramureș, in Romania's far north, a place where time stands still. Here, tradition is alive: wooden houses, hand-carved gates, and a way of life unchanged for centuries. Each gate tells a family's story, carved with symbols of life and unity. I wandered villages, watched people work the fields, and saw women weaving outside their homes. On Sundays, the whole village dresses in traditional costume for church, a moving, authentic sight. The Mary Cemetery in Sapanta was a revelation: colorful graves, each with a painted story and a humorous poem. In Maramureș, I learned that tradition can be joyful, colorful, and wise. More than any castle or landscape, it was the people who defined my journey. I expected Romanians to be reserved, but everywhere I went, I was met with genuine warmth. Lost in a small town, an elderly woman guided me to my destination with a smile and a gentle touch. In the countryside, hospitality was even stronger. Ask for directions and you're invited for coffee, a meal, maybe even a place to stay. I stayed in a family guest house, treated not as a customer but as family. These acts of kindness changed my perspective on travel. The best souvenirs are the connections we make. The Romanian people taught me that kindness is a universal language, and their warmth is the country's greatest treasure. Before Romania, my image of the country was a black and white photo, shadows and old stories. My journey painted over that with color, laughter, and friendship. Romania is a land of contrasts, ancient traditions beside modern ambitions, shepherds and wind turbines, horse carts and high-speed internet. This mix isn't a conflict, it's a beautiful dance between past and future. Romania isn't stuck in history, it's building something new. I learned to travel with my heart first, to embrace the unexpected. The most memorable moments can't be planned, they happen when you're open to surprise. Romania challenged my assumptions and rewarded my curiosity with beauty and wisdom. It's a country that stays in your heart long after you leave. My adventure in Romania ends, but the story doesn't have to. Travel is meant to be shared. Our stories build bridges and open minds. I hope my journey has given you a glimpse of Romania's true beauty and sparked your curiosity. Every journey is a chance to learn, grow, and connect. If my story inspired you, join this community of curious travelers. Share your own stories in the comments. Let's inspire each other to keep exploring. Subscribe to follow my next adventure. There's a world of unexpected wonders out there. Let's go find them together. Thank you for traveling with me today.